This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The police report into allegations of interference into a court matter by Michael MP V. Alfred Gray is now in the hands of the Attorney General for review and decision as to charges or otherwise.
Commissioner of Police Alison Greenslade confirmed to ZNS News that as requested by the Attorney General's office, a police team conducted the investigation, saw all witnesses, and took statements and reports.
It's alleged that the Minister Gray interfered in a legal matter involving one of his constituents. Minister Gray has maintained his innocence but has been stripped of his local government portfolio.
Investigations continue into the country's latest homicide in an inner-city community. Jared Higgs was on the scene as police conducted their initial investigation.
It was shortly before the busy 5 o'clock hour when shots rang out on Ida Street. According to Chief Superintendent Paul Rule, two men were standing by a vehicle that one of them was working on when they were accosted by a lone gunman.
One of the victims who was struck to the hand ran to the next corner to seek assistance. The second male was shot multiple times to the body.
Emergency services responded to the scene where they pronounced the first victim lifeless.
The second victim was transported to Princess Margaret Hospital via ambulance.
Relatives have identified the deceased man as 39-year-old Stephen Newland. Our sources also indicate that the second victim was his brother. Distraught family members and large crowds of area residents looked on as police combed the crime scene.
We're going to be conducting our investigations, and quite a bit of persons were here, and we'll be speaking to them in due course.
This homicide comes nearly 12 hours after police discovered a man shot to death in Blue Hills Park. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
In court news, testimony continued today in the murder trial of Kendario Bain and Owen McKinsey. The duo is accused of the fatal stabbing of C.B. Bethel High School student Jamal Wilshcombe back in 2008. Prosecutors allege that Kendario Bain and Owen McKinsey committed the offense during an attempted armed robbery. Bain is also accused of causing harm to Wilshcombe's brother, Lee Sanchez Dormias, while Bain and a third defendant, Donald Nottage, are accused of the attempted robbery of Dormias. Michael Kemp, Ian Cargill, and Wallace Rowe make up the defense. Roger Thompson is the prosecutor in the case. Justice Stephen Isaacs is presiding.
Police issuing several all-point bulletins for suspects they need your help in locating. Authorities want to question 34-year-old Enoch Yulin for attempted murder. The resident of Union Village and Excellence Estates, who also goes by the alias Pumpkin, is described by police as standing between 5 feet 10 and 5 feet 11 inches tall with a dark brown complexion and medium build.
Detectives also want to question 52-year-old Hensley Pennerman of Chippenham. He is wanted for armed robbery, burglary, and rape. Police describe the suspect as standing 5 feet 8 inches tall with a dark brown complexion and slim build.
And police want to question 26-year-old Sean Brown in connection with stealing. Brown, who is also known as Fire, is from the Rupert Dean Lane area. He's described as standing between 5 feet 8 and 5 feet 11 inches tall with a dark brown complexion and slim build. If you can assist authorities in locating any of these suspects, you're asked to call the police at 919 or crime tipsters at 328-TIPS.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. U.S. Customs and Border Protection announced today the addition of Global Entry Chaos to the Nassau Pre-Clearance Facility at the Lynden Pinley International Airport. Global Entry, a CBP trusted traveler program, provides an expedited clearance for pre-approved, low-risk travelers and currently accounts for an average of 9% of all international air arrivals. Area Port Director for Customs and Border Protection Nassau Pre-Clearance, Robert Allen Smith, said Global Entry is quick quick, easy, and efficient for travelers and allows CBP officers to focus on travelers they know less about prior to reaching the United States. In other business news, Resorts World Bimini announcing the opening of Phase 1 of the new Hilton Resorts World Bimini. Guest rooms are now complete and can be booked online with a special introductory rate of $139 a night. That rate includes round-trip transfer from the Port of Miami via Bimini Superfast Ferry. President of Resorts World Bimini, Ed Farrell, said they're proudly welcoming guests to the new Bimini Hilton ahead of summer bookings. He added that Bimini is a popular destination with travelers. And in international business news, Amazon has launched a new travel site that encourages people to get into the car and not hop a plane. Amazon Destinations, with the tagline, "Hit the road, book local getaways," is emphasizing getaways that are within a short drive from home. Amazon said that more than 40% of all U.S. trips are short-term that last from between 1 to 3 nights. So far, it offers about 150 lodging choices in Los Angeles, New York City, and Seattle areas that are mostly independent hotels or large brands looking for additional exposure. Now is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain.
A two-day high-level telecommunications forum is underway here in New Providence. Members of the International Telecommunications Union are participating in the Regional Economic and Financial Forum of Telecommunications for Information and Communication Technologies for Latin America and the Caribbean. The conference, held in conjunction with the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority Bahamas, officially opened at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel this morning. This group of delegates are said to be the ones responsible for setting policies and regulations. Chairman of IRCA Bahamas, Mr. Randall Dorset, pledged government's continued commitment to establishing the Bahamas as a key center for thought and achievement on all matters locally, regionally, and globally.
This forum, and even more so the regional meeting of the ITU's Telecommunications Standardization Bureau Study Group 3, which will follow the forum, have long acted as one of the premier think tanks in the world for issues relating to the economic and financial aspects of telecommunications policy and regulation. Traditionally, some of the most insightful ideas and methodologies in telecommunications policy have had their birth here, and I am sure that this year will be no disappointment in that regard.
Consumer protection of mobile usage remains a key issue up for discussion. ITU Representative Carmen Prado Wagner spoke to its importance.
The number of mobile subscriptions had reached almost 7 billion by the end of 2014, corresponding to a penetration rate of about 96%, showing 10-fold increase over the past 15 years. The Americas region has the second highest penetration level in the world and is home to more than 500 million mobile broadband subscriptions. In this scenario, the goal of governments is to spearhead innovation and investment and to protect the right of users with the provision of affordable access to communication services and encouraging the development of modern and effective regulatory tools.
Vendors in the downtown Straw Market have launched a newsletter aimed at updating members on the activities in the facility while promoting unity in the market at the same time. Straw Market Liaison Officer Rebecca Small says the initiative is a first for the vendors.
Various leaders in the market. However, now we are speaking with one voice under the banner of the Straw Market Leaders Team. The leaders team has amalgamated, I think, about 2.5 months, just shy over 2.5 months. And in 2.5 months, we were able to produce this first-time newsletter for the straw vendors. So this is an exciting time for us.
The newsletter also features tips on healthy living along with the history of the straw market.
Health tips. We have a message from the straw market leaders team to the downtown straw vendors. We have also a touch of history in the downtown market. Many people didn't know that we had actually 3 fires down here, and so people didn't know that. A lot of people may know that Ms. Strawn was a senator, but they didn't know she was the first senator ever of the straw vendors. So those are little snippets of stuff that we have in our newsletter.
We're 11 days away and tickets are going fast for the IAAF BTC World Relays Bahamas. A lot faster than I think I could run, though. What do you think?
Well, yeah, definitely a lot faster.
One of the hot items, though, is paraphernalia.
Charles Fisher went shopping and tells us what you can buy.
Just like the ticket booth, the IAAF BTC World Relays Bahamas logo store is a beehive of excitement. As patrons purchase their paraphernalia, it's located just outside the eastern entrance of the stadium.
The logo store opens from 10 a.m. in the morning to 6 in the evening, and it's open prior to the game. Is open now. You can come down and get your gear, your paraphernalia. It's going to be an awesome experience.
It's a one-stop shop. You can get just about everything you need to display your Bahamian pride, says LOC Chief Financial Officer Lyndon Maycock.
We have thumb drives. We have all different types of shirts. This year, same as last year. The first day, the Bahamas usually wear the aqua, the blue. And on the second day, the last day, we usually go for gold. And so we're asking all the Bahamians to come out and purchase their aqua for the first day, and for the last day, the second day, the gold. And so this year we're looking to really take our logo store to the next level. We have the tie-dyes, we have the ladies tank tops, and so it's going to be a very awesome experience.
It seems to be the hottest seller right now.
The hottest seller is the tie-dye. Everybody is falling in love with the tie-dye shirts, the gold for the last day of the event. Price range from as low as $10 to $22 for the polo shirts.
So if you've not gotten your tickets as yet, go on down and get them, because they are just a few left and they are going fast. After getting your tickets, make a few steps right next to the logo store and get your gears as well to show your Bahamian pride. For ZNS News Network, I'm Charles Fisher.
Exuma straw vendors heard from the Minister of Works last evening as he addressed that fire that destroyed their livelihoods. Keishla Adderley tells us about the update he was able to give about restoring their stores and safeguarding their investments in the future.
Minister with responsibility for straw markets, Philip Brave Davis, is all for a fire engine for the Georgetown and wider Exuma area, but he points out it's important to note it can't work in a vacuum.
I got some news earlier tonight about a fire truck, which I'm not yet ready to disclose. A necessary consequence of having fire trucks will be having strategically located fire hydrants to be able to water the trucks in the event of. So I think the answer to that will be yes, but it'll come along with the other infrastructure that's necessary.
But whenever it comes, it will spell relief and a remedy to scenes like this one, a fire which burned the Exuma straw market to the ground last week, leaving scores of vendors economically devastated. As works officials assess the losses, they're also monitoring the contributions of donors.
Losses range from about 69,000 to 100,000 to 4,000. Of course, we have to review all of those. So at the moment, we would not talk about the numbers, but it is also important, Mr. Adams, that we identify what the funds are being donated for accountability and transparency.
Unfortunately for vendors, the fire came at a bad time, just ahead of the Family Island Regatta, the island's biggest moneymaker. And despite the best efforts of the government, restoration could not come in time.
We've asked for a environmental impact study, which I think has now been done and is now being evaluated by my ministry, and an answer to that reclamation is going to be had very soon. We had hoped, in fact, we were being urged to do it before this regatta, to have it done before this regatta, but unfortunately I had to await the best commissions or the environmental study report before we move.
Vendors have no choice but to cut their losses this year, but by next year they're hoping all involved put fire under the plan to protect the island from scenes like this. Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
For nearly a decade now, the National Coastal Awareness Committee has made it a point to highlight the fact that protecting our coastal environment is essential for maintaining a healthy, balanced ecosystem. And it's the only way we'll be able to enjoy our beaches, mangroves, and other areas today and for generations to come. The committee's latest stop was home of one of the world's most beautiful beaches, Treasure Cay, Abaco, where they mounted a major cleanup effort. The Bahamas is home to some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, but unfortunately that hasn't stopped many Bahamians from dumping garbage on them. The amount of garbage that was removed from beaches in Abaco this weekend was an eye-opener for our news team, but organizers of the National Coastal Awareness Committee were not surprised. On day one of a two-day cleanup effort, volunteers from Nassau and the Treasure Cay community descended onto the private and public Treasure Cay beaches to clean them up.
I live in the area and it doesn't make any sense having the area dirty. Everybody uses this area. Might as well have it clean and look so it could look presentable.
We live on a boat. We see it, in the ocean all the time, and try to pick up as much as you can. But there's a lot of people that throw their stuff over. It's it's going to kill the wildlife.
I believe people generally don't want to make a mess. If we make it easy for them for a place to deposit their trash, and then we have a routine collection effort, I think that would take care of a lot of it, because that's what a lot of it was.
Their gloves, shovels, and rakes were not enough, though, as volunteers went deep in the bushes to pull out plastic items, oil containers, and iron products. On day two of the cleanup, though, volunteers never imagined what they would discover on a track road that led to the Blackwood Public Beach.
It looks as if this area is just being used as a public dump, and we need to find out why. If the services are not adequate enough for the local people and they're seeing the need to dump their trash here, then there's obviously something not working.
It took a lot of hard work, but volunteers were able to get the job done. The cleanup effort was also used as an opportunity to record the kind of debris that is being washed up or dumped on our shores.
We record all the trash that is collected and we send it to the Ocean Conservancy, and they keep the data of all the trash that's collected around the world. Volunteers were given data cards like this, and they would write down every piece of trash that they found. So for example, cigarette butts, they put one, you just do a tally system, then you add at the end. All of this will be calculated, and we'll put it onto their website so you can find information out there. Say any researcher that wants to find what kind of trash is being found in the Bahamas, what kind of trash has been found in Abaco, and they can find that information out.
This month is National Coastal Awareness Month, and organizers from the Ministry of Tourism and non-government organizations are passionate about educating Bahamians about their natural resources and the need for them to be used sustainably.